intention for this video, or the intention for this video, is to channel through whatever needs to be said on the topic of racism, because this word has been coming at me, through me, for anyone, for people right now, to be explored, to be looked at, to bring awareness to. And as I personally feel that politics are failing humanity, they are failing to politics as a concept or as a construct that is real, is failing. It is failing at what it claims to do. So it's not what I'm receiving, the information I'm receiving, as much as my own personal opinion, which is irrelevant to this, but is that there is a misalignment in what politics is claiming to be giving and offering the world and its people, in contrast to what it is actually bringing, what it is actually offering, what it is actually creating. So, I'm just gonna let the words come. The situation in the world today is in no way what it seems to be. What that means is that the reality that you are being shown, that you are being given by media, by the ones in power, in perceived power, those that you feel that you have given your power to so that they can take responsibility for you and your life together with the collective. That is not real anymore. And this is really, really important for people to begin to grasp or feel into, because there is a massive wound of betrayal. There is this is actually the pain. Ooh. That was deeply unpleasant. So what I'm tapping into is this collective wound, this pain of being betrayed by the authority. And this is all coming from our inner child, our inner children. Because as children, we inevitably felt betrayed by the authority in our lives, which were our parents or our siblings or whoever was meant to sort of provide to us the safety that we needed to blossom into who we are, and to create the environment where we would feel held, where we would feel loved, where we would feel nurtured enough to grow and to step into our own divinity and our own power. So what happens is we come into the world as in this reality, this third dimensional, the perception of this dense body that we are, that we think we are. And we're coming from divinity. We are divinity. We're pure love. We're pure light. And I recently read this. This is from someone else. About, like, this is the original heartbreak, where we realize, I did not make this word up, someone else provided it, but this girl calls it, I think her name is Gilligan, anyway, she calls it the original heartbreak. It's the moment when we realize that our parents, or this reality, the world that we're in, is not as safe. It doesn't feel as safe as the divine light that we came from, that we originated from. And there is instantly a misunderstanding happening, where it's like, but wait a minute, like, there is an expectation for the world outside of you to hold you, because you're a child, you're a fetus. Even this is already happening when you're in your mother's womb. The moments when your mom is failing to love you unconditionally, already when you're in her belly. And this is not to put blame on anything or anyone. It's the reality that we are experiencing as third dimensional beings. And when that original heartbreak happens, when there is a feeling, this first feeling of like, oh my God, I am not loved, or I am not safe, I don't understand why I'm not being loved. There must be something wrong with me. And that is when shit starts to go wrong. And it's all good. Like, it's not wrong in the sense that, like, we should not have been acting in a different way from that moment on. We couldn't have done any different. No one could have done any different, because it's a survival mechanism. It's what we need to survive, to overcome the deficiency that we experience. That the deficiency that in that moment is real, because we are cut off from the flow of love from source. We are cut off from it. Like, it's like the moment we step into the world as these beings, and someone tells us, whether energetically or physically, with violence, or just by, like, rejecting us in a way, or through their words, that is when we are being told that we are separate from God, that we are separate from divinity. And this reality that starts to become created from this original pain that we experience. So the way that the defense mechanisms start to happen in us, and they start to build us, who we are in the world, so that we can continue to exist, because we want to survive. We have to survive. We have to do what it takes to survive. And so we begin building an identity, and the identity becomes our shield. And this shield cuts us off even more from divinity, and from flow, and from source, from God, from unconditional love. So what happens is that we are actually reenacting that pain everywhere we go. You're carrying that pain with you. And in order to protect yourself from feeling that pain, you are recreating it. It seems not to make sense in the rational mind because it actually doesn't really make sense. It just makes sense on a fear-based level. Because when the fear is so strong to relive something, then you don't want to heal it. There is a resistance to healing it because there's a misconception that healing it means reliving it. And that if you come with your nurturing awareness and care and dissolve it, it might happen to you again. Because then you're defenseless. If you keep it as a memory, as just like, oh, this is what happens when I do this or that. So if I can remember that, if I can memorize that everywhere I go, that this is the consequence of my actions, then I will not act in that way. And then I can protect myself from feeling this. So I'm constantly going like this, needing to keep everything away so that nothing is touching this pain. But this pain is always there. It's sitting there. And it's just wanting to come out and be freed. or to be felt. To be felt. And in that feeling, it is being released. Excuse me. So, what does this have to do with politics and racism? Why did I speak about racism? Because it is the same I got distracted. Where am I? Racism and politics. Why? Why the link? Why am I talking about this original heartbreak? Because what you begin to manifest as a child from that, like how you build your persona, your ego, in order to protect yourself from feeling that original pain, is how you go on creating your reality as a grown-up human being. And as grown-up human beings, we are seemingly extremely evolved in creating a society, and we're building a society. But what's happening is that society is creating itself according to our egos. Society is creating itself according to our pain, so that we don't have to feel and be confronted with that pain. So we're just actually extending our egos out into reality. Manifesting our egos. Manifesting our defense mechanisms into these tangible things, into these political structures, into these societal norms, laws, ideas, ideologies. It becomes so convoluted that the moment you step into a political debate, you can be sure that you are speaking to someone's hurt inner child. You are speaking to their pain. You are literally stepping in to an argument with someone's desire to hold on to their pain and to defend their pain. And that's why, personally, I've taken a step out of it in order to perceive it, in order to not get swept away in this drama, because it becomes a drama. It's a drama because it is completely steered by egos. If it were harmonious, we would know that there isn't ego in it. And I'm not saying that ego is bad. This is not what I'm saying. I'm saying bring awareness to it. I'm saying become aware of who you are and who you are speaking to and why. Because when you are doing that, you are enabling the space for healing and empowering others to do the same. And that is the basis of a society that is not a construct of shielding yourself from pain, is not an extension of the original heartbreak. So that is the gateway to politics. That is the link between what I'm speaking about and the way we act on a greater scale. Let's give an example. Let's look at an example. Little Jack. I don't know why the name Jack came, but let's say Bill. Little Bill and little Jack were playing in the sandbox. Bill came from a foreign country, any country, where they looked a little different than Jack. Bill accidentally hurt Jack. I mean, this is super hypothetical now. Bill accidentally hurt Jack when he wanted to grab the little the toy that they were playing with, whatever toy that was. He accidentally hurt him while he grabbed it. And from then on, Jack became scared of Bill. And anytime there was a person that looked a little bit like Bill, or that came from the same country as Bill, Jack became scared. Then when Jack grew up, someone told him something that had happened to them about with a person that came from the same country that Bill came from, or that looked similar to Bill. And all of a sudden, Jack feels that his pain is more validated. And he feels the need to protect himself even more from having that happen to him again. So he begins really building up this world as a dangerous place when there are bills around. Bills. When there are bills. Anyway, and so he protects himself. And he becomes quite a powerful guy. His ego is strong. He is big in the sense of how he's able to project himself in the world. And people start to listen to him. And there's one thing he needs to say that's really, really important. He feels that he needs into the political scene and really speak up for what he believes is true. And what he believes is true is based upon his desire to not feel that original pain that occurred to him in the sandbox. So what he tells people is that people from Bill's country are bad, and they need to be banished out of our country. We need to close ourselves to them. So that's the closeness that happens in the self, and in a country, we need to build walls. This is getting very close to the truth. So we need to build walls around our country, and we need to reject all the bills. All the bills must go. We can't have any bills, because bills are bad, and they make you feel bad. And I don't want to feel bad, you don't want to feel bad, so let's just remove all the bills, right? And then there's people who believe that because they want to feel good, and they don't really know why they're feeling bad, but they're feeling bad too. They're feeling really bad inside because they have original heartbreaks, they have original pain from their childhood, from being betrayed by some kind of authority that wasn't there for them, that didn't save them when they felt they needed saving, that didn't hold them when they felt they needed to be held. So there must be something. There must be something. And if this guy is saying that things will be better when there are no bills around, then maybe that's worth a try. Maybe I want to believe in it so bad that I will. And I'm going to remove all the bills of my life too. I'm going to reject them. But what's happening is there's just more and more people rejecting their own pains, suppressing, and pushing away, building bigger walls, bigger egos. This is why we can't get into a political debate with someone who is going into a debate from their pain. What are you going to do? What are you going to do arguing with a person that does not want to feel their pain? They just want a quick fix. What do you do? So this is, I guess you're seeing the link with racism, and understanding what racism is in this. Because racism is just, I don't want to belittle it. I don't want to enter a discussion about what it is, because I've only experienced a small portion of it for myself. And I know there are people out there that are living in that reality. But racism, from what I'm receiving, from what I'm hearing, when I truly tune into my heart, is a condition. It is a condition. Racism is a condition. It is the condition that is based upon separation. And it is one of the most basic ways. For the human ego to solidify itself against a polar opposite or a seeming polar opposite. It is the most primal way, or one of the most primal ways, to solidify your identity in relationship to someone else. When you go into the political debate with your own wounds and your own pain of separation, of needing to solidify who you are in relationship to the person that you're speaking to, you are either going to beat someone or get beaten. And none of it is of service. None of it is serving you or the other. Political debate as well as racism, and racism within political debates, is founded on pain. Why is it that when you watch a political debate, you are drawn into it? You are instantly wanting to take sides. You are instantly thinking, he's good, he's bad, he's right, he's saying something good, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Is that not a sign? Is that not a sign? If someone is speaking truth, if anyone is speaking truth, or if all parties were speaking some kind of truth, would there not be relief? Would there not be a sense of joy? Would there not be an ease in listening? Would there not be presence within yourself? Would there not be a harmonious relating? A compassionate listening? A loving ground? When did you last see a political debate on loving ground? I don't know. I haven't watched that many, to be honest. I haven't. Because I choose to listen to the things that bring me back to myself. That reminds me of essence, of divinity, of purity. Where I don't need to be in conflict to know who I am. But where I can see myself reflected in someone's being because they are offering presence. They are offering love, unconditional presence. And I'm not saying, what am I not saying? I'm not saying avoid conversation, avoid confrontation, avoid challenges. I'm not saying that. not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be aware. Be aware. Let the confrontation be a wake-up call. And instead of thinking that you have to pick sides, look at it. Look at it. Observe. Who are these people speaking and why are they speaking? Where are they speaking from? And what is it triggering inside of you? When you sit and you are present with yourself, in those moments, that is when healing happens. And you are feeling the pain that is coming up for you, that you have built lifetimes, perhaps, on protecting yourself from. And you let it come up, and you let it come out. You are healing. And the more we are, the more the human consciousness is present with itself rather than distracted by the ego's drama, whether internally or externally. The more we are able to co-create this reality on a conscious, loving foundation, or simply with awareness, with presence, with love. We are able to communicate on a different frequency. It's a completely different vibration. It's something eternal. And that eternal being is who you are. And that is extremely empowering. It is power in itself. You are that. And when you come to learn that, when you come to see that, you will laugh at politics. Politics will fall away. It is a dying defense mechanism of the collective consciousness, of the collective ego, the egoic part of our consciousness. So it starts to crumble because more and more people are tapping into the original wound, and we are letting go of the shields, and we are opening our hearts, and we are becoming more of ourselves, and we are allowing divinity to flow through, and we can communicate because we realize that we are one. And the same, and that there is only collaboration. There is nothing else. It requires discernment. It requires a great level of self-awareness. It is possible. It's possible. That's all you need to know. That it is possible. Because it is the very seed of thinking, your thought pattern that It is not possible. That takes you away from acting in alignment with the truth that it is possible. It is possible to be yourself in the world. It is possible to create and emanate a vibration that is pure, something that comes from your heart. It is possible. When we know that, when we trust that, when we feel into that field of energy that truth is, then we begin to see ego for what it is. We begin to see pain for what it is. It does not mean disregard ego, disregard pain. It means now I can see you. Now I can hold you. Now I can nurture you. Now I can give you the care, loving attention that you need. Now I can show you once again that you are God. Now you are being receptive to feeling source. Now you are healing. Now you are. Now it is simple. Now, racism as a condition can be healed. Individually as well as collectively. Because it starts within. Now, politics as a condition of society, of this reality, can be healed. Because we have become aware. We are aware and we see truth. We are not trapped inside the illusion. And that is all for now. Thank you for tuning in and for listening and for being open to this vibration, for letting the healing light come through you. For love.